And then we also had some really cool events this week. Ignite Tampa Bay, which is usually an in-person conference, has their annual conference that unfortunately we couldn't attend this year, but they did a recap of the last 10 years speakers, which is really, really cool. So go check that out. They're live if you haven't already. And then this weekend we had some really fun events for people submitting to the site as well. Saturday night there is a PJ party, and there's also an open mic night on Saturday, and then we have a sip and shop coming up and a couple other really awesome business networking events. So check out our new events people have submitted, and if you see any, please make sure you're tagging Tampa Bay Goes Live so that we can continue to add to our virtual events and support Tampa Bay companies. Last thing, we updated just a few technical aspects of the website too. So if you have an event you want to submit but you don't have an image, you can do that now. And we've also tweaked a little bit the dimensions that were kind of funky. So boring but important nonetheless to help the site grow. So with that, we have 3 people joining us today for our PiVOT series. Up first, we've got Danielle Jackson, who is the owner and founder of Tell Public Relations. Following her, we've got Brandon Bruce of Food Not Flowers, an incredible company that has really found its niche as of late. Especially, I can't wait to hear from him and what they're doing. And then finally, we have Lynn Croson. I really hope I'm saying your last name right, who runs the Entrepreneur Center of Hillsborough County, and they have converted all of their events to virtual, so it'll be really cool to hear from her too. Okay, so hi everyone. Hey Lynn, hey Fallon, Ybor Market, what's up guys? I am going to welcome in Danielle. So we can chat with her about what's happening in COVID-19 life. What's up, girl?
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm making it through today. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, it's going to be quarantine and coronavirus talk nonstop, and I feel like we still have to maintain some sort of normalcy. So it's Friday. So I'm trying to treat it like a normal Friday, and which
exactly.
You would be excited and ready for the weekend. So that's what I'm doing to kind of
I love the positivity you're bringing to this. Yes.
I mean, so far so good. I mean, check back in a week, and I don't know that I'd have this enthusiasm.
True. Like hour to hour, day to day.
Definitely.
Tell us about you, your company, and then we can kind of dive into how things are going in the current environment.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me to pop on today. My name is Danielle Jackson, and I own Tell Public Relations. It's a team of 6 women. We're a girl-powered agency, and we work to help female entrepreneurs get the attention they deserve. So what's always frustrating to me is whenever I go to any networking anything, and I meet a woman and she's talking to me very excitedly about her business, and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I think, I've never heard of her before. And that's a problem because I'm pretty in the loop. So you have all these women who are doing really great things, you know, not just here in Tampa, but nationally, and nobody knows it. And so what's sad for me is to see women have to close their doors, or they're not making the revenue they should be. And it's not because their business isn't great. It's not because the founder's not sharp. It's because people just don't know they exist. So our job is to come in and increase your visibility so people can know about the great things that these women are doing.
I love it. And not just other people. You guys are doing some really awesome things too. So tell me, since COVID-19 quarantine life, how has your business changed? Do you have more time? Do you have less time? Are you still operating the same way? Like, what does that look like for a PR agency?
You know what's strange is, and other agencies might be different, but I guess you don't really realize what you do and how you do because you're just in it and you're just moving. And I think whenever you're forced to change your environment, it puts you face to face with how you were operating, what worked and what didn't. And I guess I didn't realize how much we rely on technology, because so far not much has changed for us because of the nature of our business. So, you know, for example, the other week I was able to pitch a client to the Tampa Bay Times. It ran 48 hours later. And I did that while I was wearing pajama bottoms, eating Cheetos on the couch.
Yes.
So I guess I didn't realize, normally I go to, the office and I do what I do. But as far as like having conversations and tweeting people really fast and talking to a client, hey, can you be available at this time? That has not really changed much at all, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Some changes I have noticed is, by extension, we have clients who did have grand openings planned. They had big events planned, and that's not happening anymore. So kind of helping them through. So for our business, we're okay. But for our clients, we're their guide and helping them see we can still put this on. You just have to wrap your mind around the fact that it might look different than it did before, and that might not be a bad thing. So for us, we haven't seen too much of a difference, but for our clients, we have, and our job is to serve them however they need, and so it's kind of challenged us in that way, but it's been fun.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is you're like used to operating in this digital world, and you can do it at lightning speed because you have to just by trade, and the news cycle never stops, right? So you're like used to constantly being on and things evolving and changing, which I think has served you well so far. And you're able to take that information and better serve your clients who may be stuck, right? Like, what do you do with a grand opening that no one can come to anymore?
Absolutely. And I think that's something, we're all kind of like, what do we do? Because there is no playbook,
Right.
So we've been thinking of creative ways to still put them out front. And I think it's also a great way to prove to clients and anybody who's entertaining the idea of getting PR that it doesn't just have to hinge on the media giving you exposure, because we get a lot of like, oh, do I want media exposure right now? But it's all about just visibility. So we come up with cool campaigns for social media to get you out there, or a cool Instagram live series, something, similar to this, to get your face out there on a consistent basis and to help people grow an affinity for your brand, so that when we do emerge from quarantine, they've spent 2-3 months with you and they really like you and they're eager to support anything you get behind. So it doesn't just have to hinge on the media, even though that's like, the sexiest, shiniest thing, and it's certainly effective. But there are things that are in your own control that you can do to get your name out there. And right now, during this time, we've been showing people how they can do that themselves.
Love it. And I saw you release a couple digital classes. Is that right, too?
We did, because we're an education-based agency. So some other publicists think I'm kind of crazy because we don't just represent you. We want to show you how to do it yourself, because a lot of it women can do themselves. So we host trainings. My history is I was an high school English teacher for 6 years. So my brain just works that way. How do we teach it? What's the presentation? How do you practice it? So we've been applying that in this arena. So we teach women how to do this themselves. So for example, next Tuesday, we're showing business owners how to create their own media list. So they know that they want exposure. They don't even know where to start. So it's like a classroom setting, and I'm like the teacher right next to you, looking over you at your paper. I'm going to walk you through who to pick. And then I pause and I say, okay, now it's your turn to go and research. Okay, let me look at who you put. Okay, that's good. So next week, next Tuesday, we're hosting a virtual training to walk people through how to craft a media list to start getting your name out there in a major way, because it's very possible. So we've been having fun with the trainings. People have been appreciating it. I know for some people it's been a question of like, do I charge for these things? Do I not? And we're trying to be very mindful if people are in hard times. And I think that's something that every business has to figure out. I think, more people are at home than ever before. So it might be time to, maybe you do complimentary things to finally let them have a taste and to have access to what you do, so that now they understand the value and they're willing to pay. So that's something we've been figuring out too, to be totally honest. And we're trying to be mindful and respectful of things that are going on, and ultimately be a resource for people.
So I have to ask, did you have this virtual training planned before quarantine, or is this something that sort of came out of that, and will you continue to do it when sort of life goes back to normal? What does that look like?
We're toggling between both. So we've always done things virtually. But me, I really do love in person. I miss it. I miss, going around the table. So for example, the training next Tuesday to build your own media contact list, it's virtual and I can toggle back and forth with you. But we did originally have planned something even bigger that was actually supposed to happen today at Hyde House, an intimate group of 15 female entrepreneurs going around the table, practicing your media pitch. We help you craft it. And then we show you cool ways to find story angles. And a lot of that hinged on like, you know, that natural, you're making eye contact, you're going around the room, they're talking to each other. And that's kind of hard to replace. And so we're trying to supplement it with virtual classes, but we are very excited to get back to in-person because it's really special. It's a really special experience when we can get together.
I love it. So just to follow up, you'll continue to do virtual after quarantine,
Yes.
but you're definitely going back to your in-person stuff too.
Yes. And I think that might be a reach thing too, because, you know, in Tampa, we can reach a lot of people in person, but when you go virtual, you've got that added bonus of people from wherever can join in. And some people are very busy and they're balancing kids and other things. And, you know, just logistically, they can't drive and sit down and do the whole thing. So I think it's definitely something we're going to keep up. And we definitely, of course, made that observation after this situation.
Sure. So 2 questions, and I want to be respectful because we do have 2 other people here for you. Kind of the same question here because you really piqued my interest earlier when you were talking about the open house, and I'm dying to know what actually happened. And by the same token, you know, have you seen anyone else or any other brands or businesses doing interesting things to pivot or go virtual? You know, any other stories that maybe you can share with us? And
yeah, not just stories. I'll give you some tips because I love giving like practical tips. So if there's anybody who has something kind of like a grand opening type event planned where people are supposed to see your space and be introduced to something new, you can still do that. So whether, you know, you go virtually and you have somebody who actually physically goes to the location and does a live, almost like a virtual tour. That's why virtual tours are so popular, you know, with real estate, because we want to see. We don't just want somebody to jump on and show me what it looks like in the living room. Show me what it feels like to move from the living room to the front room, what the backyard feels like. And so that's why virtual tours are so popular in the real estate space. But I need people to kind of like translate that to other industries. Can you give people a tour of the kitchen? Can you show them a demonstration of you making something in that new kitchen in your restaurant? So serving as a visual medium, think about the parts of the grand opening that were supposed to be visual. How can you still deliver them virtually? One little tip, too, okay, this is a good one. I was going to sit on it, but I'm feeling generous. Okay?
No, give us the good.
Yeah, so, you know, normally you have these big people come to your grand opening and they speak, they say some kind words or things like that. And you bring in people who are, you know, you try to get heavy hitters to introduce your restaurant and things like that. Okay. So are you familiar with that website Cameo where you can get like a celebrity to like say a little something? That's something you could,
yeah. Maybe other people aren't. Give us.
Yeah, so that's a popular thing. And at first I was like, how do you use that? I mean, I guess if you really love a celebrity, to get them to say happy birthday to your husband or something like that is cool. And then it was like, actually, that could be something cool to get people to come to your virtual grand opening. Is you have a celebrity do a video that says, hey guys, congratulations on opening. This is such a cool time. I'm so proud of the hard work you put in, blah, 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 blah. But as, you know, publicists, we can make that happen for a client. And, you know, whether it was, you know, paid for or not, it's just nice to kind of have those kinds of attachments and partnerships. But that's really what it's about, is partnership. Who can you partner with who's meaningful in your area? Who's a surprise heavy hitter you can bring in? But you've got to think critically. You got to be creative. You got to show cool visuals. And you got to partner with other people. Those are the keys to making your virtual events really fun when you're trying to pivot away from the physical event. So it's possible.
I love it. You just spill the beans for free right here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and there's more where that came from. Danielle and I have had lots of conversations, and you are a very smart lady. So I have no doubt that there is a lot more of information, but thank you for sharing that tidbit and kind of your story. And really, we wish you all the success managing family life and work from home life. And I hope we get to see each other in person soon too.
We will. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but I'm hopeful. But either way, I'll be following along with the website, because I know that I'm always looking for events, and it's nice to know that my money is going to support Tampa-based businesses. And I know there's those other websites that let you do things virtually, but that's just kind of an added